Chidima and Ikena's love story began on a sunny afternoon in the bustling city of Lagos. They met at Ikena's workshop, where Chidima had gone to commission a custom furniture piece for her new apartment. Ikena, with his charming smile and skilled hands, swept Chidima off her feet. As they worked together, their conversations flowed effortlessly, and their connection deepened. Chidima, a successful businesswoman, found solace in Ikena's simplicity and genuine nature. Ikena, on the other hand, admired Chidima's drive and ambition. 6 months into their whirlwind romance, Ikena took Chidima to the same workshop where they first met. He led her to a beautifully crafted wooden box, adorned with intricate carvings. "I promise to love and cherish you forever," Ikena said, opening the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "Will you marry me, Chidima?" Tears of joy streaming down her face, Chidima nodded eagerly. Chidima's best friend, Amarachi, was overjoyed when she heard the news. She had always admired Ikena's kindness and genuine love for Chidima. The three of them celebrated late into the night, making plans for the upcoming wedding. However, not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Chidima's mother, Mrs. Mosu, was less than thrilled. She had always envisioned a more affluent and influential son-in-law. "That carpenter can't provide for you the way you deserve," Mrs. Mosu said during a heated argument. "You're sacrificing your future for love." Chidima stood firm, convinced that Ikena's love and devotion were worth more than any material possessions. As the wedding preparations progressed, subtle cracks began to form in Chidima and Ikena's relationship. Ikena's struggling business and Chidima's demanding career often kept them apart. One fateful evening, Chidima received an offer to oversee her company's new branch in Abuja. The promotion came with a substantial salary increase and prestige, but it meant relocating to a different city. "Ikena, I don't know if I can turn this down," Chidima said, torn between her career aspirations and her promise to build a life with Ikena. Ikena's expression turned somber. "You know I support your dreams, but can't you see? This will tear us apart." Chidima's mind raced with the weight of the decision. She knew Ikena's struggles to establish his business, and the thought of leaving him behind was unbearable. "I'll turn it down," Chidima said finally, trying to sound convincing. Ikena's eyes narrowed. "No, you won't. You deserve this opportunity. We'll make it work." But the distance began to take its toll. Chidima threw herself into her new role, while Ikena struggled to keep his business afloat. Phone calls became less frequent, and visits were few and far between. It was during one of Chidima's rare visits to Lagos that she met Amarachi's new friend, Uche. Suave, charismatic, and wildly successful, Uche was everything Chidima's mother had envisioned for her. Uche's flirtations were subtle but persistent, and Chidima found herself drawn to their attention. She tried to brush it off as harmless, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Meanwhile, Ikena's business faced a devastating setback. A fire ravaged his workshop, destroying everything he had built. Chidima received the news in Abuja, feeling guilty for not being there for Ikena. She rushed to Lagos, but the distance between them was palpable. As they surveyed the damage, Ikena's eyes seemed to hold a trace of accusation. "If you were here, this wouldn't have happened." Chidima felt the sting of his words. "That's not fair, Ikena. I'm trying to make a life for us." The tension between them continued to simmer, and Uche's presence didn't help. He offered Chidima a shoulder to cry on, and she found herself confiding in him. One evening, Uche took Chidima out for a consolatory dinner. The wine flowed, and Chidima's inhibitions waned. Uche's eyes locked onto hers. "You deserve better than Ikena. Someone who can give you the world." Chidima's heart skipped a beat. For a moment, she forgot the promise she made to Ikena. Amarachi noticed the change in Chidima's demeanor and confronted her. "What's going on, Chidi? You're drifting away from Ikena." Chidima broke down, confessing her doubts and Uche's advances. Amarachi's expression turned stern. "You're making a mistake, Chidi. Ikenna loves you truly. Don't let external pressures tear you apart." But Chidima's mind was already made up. Chidima made the shocking decision to end her engagement with Ikenna, citing the distance and her newfound ambitions. Ikenna was devastated. "You're leaving me for someone else, aren't you?" Chidima's silence was all the confirmation he needed. Ikenna's world crumbled around him. He lost the love of his life and his business. Amarachi tried to be there for him, but even her presence couldn't ease the pain. As Chidima and Uche's relationship became public knowledge, Ikenna's anger turned to bitterness. "I thought our promise meant something," Ikenna said to Amarachi, his voice laced with sorrow. Amarachi hugged him tightly. "You deserve better, Ikenna. Someone who'll love you truly." Months passed, and Ikenna slowly rebuilt his life. His business began to flourish, and he found solace in his craft. But the memory of Chidima lingered, a constant reminder of the love they shared and the promise she broke. One day, Amarachi approached Ikenna with a curious expression. "Ikenna, I've been noticing something. Chidima's been watching you from afar. She looks regretful." Ikenna's eyes narrowed. "What does she want now?" Chidima stood under the shade of a tree, watching Ikenna and Amarachi laugh together in the sunlight. Ikenna's workshop was visible in the background, symbolizing his newfound success and contentment. For the first time, Chidima realized the true value of what she lost. The distance between them now seemed insurmountable. As Ikenna caught her gaze, Chidima's eyes filled with tears. She knew she'd made a grave mistake. But the aftermath of Chidima's realization leaves room for interpretation. Will she try to make amends, or will Ikenna's newfound happiness keep her at bay? The promise of forever had been broken, but the memory of their love would linger forever. Chidima thought she had found the perfect replacement for Ikenna. Uche's charm, wealth, and influence swept her off her feet. At first, Uche showered her with attention and luxury. He took her on extravagant vacations, bought her designer clothes, and introduced her to the elite social circle. But beneath the facade, Chidima felt empty. Uche's love was superficial, and his possessiveness suffocated her. One evening, at a high society gala, Chidima caught Uche flirting with another woman. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. "Uche, who is that?" Chidima demanded, her voice trembling. Uche's smile faltered. "Just a business associate, darling." Chidima's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me." The argument escalated, and for the first time, Chidima saw Uche's true colors. "You're just like the others," Uche sneered. "You think you're better than everyone else? Newsflash, Chidima, you're nothing without me." Chidima felt a chill run down her spine. She realized she had traded Ikenna's genuine love for Uche's toxic affluence. Chidima began to reevaluate her choices. She started to notice the little things Uche did, the way he belittled her opinions, the way he controlled her every move. One day, while clearing out her old apartment, Chidima stumbled upon the wooden box Ikenna had crafted for her. The diamond ring still lay inside. Tears streamed down her face as memories flooded back. She remembered Ikenna's kindness, his patience, and his unwavering love. Chidima realized she had made a grave mistake. She longed for Ikenna's gentle touch, his reassuring smile, and his unconditional love. Determined to make amends, Chidima started to distance herself from Uche. She began attending therapy sessions, trying to heal from the emotional wounds. But Uche wouldn't let her go easily. He became increasingly possessive, showing up at her workplace and threatening to ruin her reputation. Chidima knew she had to escape. She confided in Amarachi, who offered her a safe haven. "Ikenna's moved on, Chidi," Amarachi warned. "Don't expect him to take you back." Chidima nodded, knowing she didn't deserve Ikena's forgiveness. But she hoped that someday, somehow, she could make things right. As Chidima settled into her new life, free from Uche's grasp, she couldn't shake off the feeling of regret. She had lost the love of her life due to her own ambitions and doubts. One day, while walking through the city, Chidima stumbled upon Ikena's new workshop. She hesitated, wondering if she should approach him. The sound of hammering and sawing filled the air, and Chidima's heart swelled with nostalgia. Should she take a chance and face Ikena, or would it only lead to more heartache? Chidima took a deep breath and pushed open the workshop door. The familiar scent of wood and sawdust enveloped her, transporting her back to happier times. Ikena looked up, his eyes narrowing as he took in Chidima's hesitant smile. "Chidima," he said curtly, his tone a mix of surprise and weariness. "Amarachi told me you'd moved on," Chidima said, her voice barely above a whisper. Ikena's expression softened slightly. "I have." Chidima's eyes welled up with tears. "I'm so sorry, Ikena. For everything." Ikena's face remained impassive, but his voice cracked. "Why are you here, Chidima?" Chidima took another step forward, her heart pounding. "I was wrong to leave you. I realize now that our love was worth fighting for." Ikena's eyes flashed with pain. "You threw away our promise, Chidima. You chose wealth and status over me." Chidima's knees buckled, but she forced herself to stand tall. "I know. I was blind. But I've seen the truth now. Uche was never worthy of me, and I was never worthy of you." Ikena's gaze pierced through Chidima's soul. He saw the sincerity in her eyes, but his heart remained guarded. "What do you want from me, Chidima?" Ikena asked, his voice laced with caution. Chidima's voice trembled. "I want to make amends. I want to prove that I've changed." Ikena's expression remained unreadable. "I've moved on, Chidima. I have someone in my life now." Chidima's heart sank, but she nodded. "I understand. I don't expect forgiveness or another chance. Just, let me make it right." Ikena studied Chidima's face, searching for any sign of deception. But all he saw was genuine remorse. "Okay," Ikena said finally. "Prove it to me. Prove that you've changed." Chidima's face lit up with determination. "I will. I'll do whatever it takes." As Chidima left the workshop, Ikena couldn't shake off the feeling that he was taking a risk. But a part of him still loved Chidima, and he wanted to believe in her redemption. Little did Ikena know, Chidima's journey to redemption would be fraught with obstacles, and their complicated past would only be the beginning. Chidima threw herself into making amends. She started by helping Ikena's business, using her marketing expertise to boost his visibility. Ikena was hesitant at first, but Chidima's dedication and hard work began to win him over. However, not everyone was pleased with Chidima's newfound involvement. Amarachi, Ikena's confidant and closest friend, was wary. "Chidi, you hurt Ikena deeply," Amarachi said, her voice firm but concerned. "Don't think you can just waltz back into his life." Chidima nodded, understanding Amarachi's reservations. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want to prove myself." Amarachi's expression softened. "Prove it to yourself first. Show Ikena you're genuinely changed." Chidima took Amarachi's words to heart. She began volunteering at local charities, using her skills to make a positive impact. As news of Chidima's philanthropic efforts spread, Ikena's curiosity grew. He started attending charity events, watching Chidima from afar. One evening, at a fundraiser gala, Ikena approached Chidima. "You're doing amazing work," he said, his voice tinged with admiration. Chidima's eyes sparkled. "Thank you, Ikena. I'm trying to make a difference." Ikena's gaze lingered on hers. "I think you're genuinely trying to change." Chidima's heart skipped a beat. I am, Ikena. For myself, for you, and for us. Ikena's expression faltered, revealing a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, Chidima had changed. As the night wore on, they talked about their past, their mistakes, and their dreams. The connection between them still existed, simmering beneath the surface. But just as things seemed to be progressing, Uche appeared, his eyes blazing with malice. Chidima, you think you can just leave me and run back to this carpenter? Uche sneered. Ikena stepped forward, his eyes flashing with anger. Leave her alone, Uche. The tension escalated, and Chidima knew she had to confront her past once and for all. Facing the past. Chidima stood tall, her voice firm. Uche, I've moved on. Leave me alone. Uche's face twisted in anger. You'll never be happy with him. He's beneath you. Ikena stepped forward, his fist clenched. That's enough, Uche. Amarachi intervened, her voice calm but authoritative. Uche, you're not welcome here. Leave now. Uche's eyes narrowed, but he backed down, disappearing into the night. The tension lingered, and Chidima turned to Ikena. Thank you for standing up for me. Ikena's expression softened. I'll always protect you, Chidima. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, the past melted away. As the night wore on, Chidima and Ikena found themselves lost in conversation. They laughed, shared stories, and reconnected. But reality intruded when Ikena's new partner, Neoma, arrived. Chidima's heart sank as she realized Ikena had indeed moved on. Ikena, Chidima began, unsure what to say. Ikena's expression turned guarded. Chidima, I care about you, but I'm with Neoma now. Chidima nodded, forcing a smile. I understand. I'm happy for you. As Chidima walked away, Ikena's eyes followed her, his heart torn. Days turned into weeks, and Chidima continued to work with Ikena's business. Their professional relationship blossomed, but the emotional connection remained. One evening, as they worked late, Ikena turned to Chidima. Why are you still helping me? You've proven yourself. Chidima's eyes met his. Because I want to make things right between us. And because I still care about you. Ikena's expression faltered, revealing a glimmer of hope. Neoma noticed the growing tension between Ikena and Chidima. She confronted Ikena, her voice laced with concern. Ikena, what's going on? You still have feelings for her, don't you? Ikena hesitated, unsure how to respond. Torn between two loves. Ikena sighed, running his hands through his hair. Neoma, I care about you deeply, but Chidima and I have history. Unfinished business. Neoma's expression turned somber. I knew this would happen. You never truly let her go. Ikena's eyes pleaded for understanding. I thought I had, but seeing her again, it's brought up old feelings. Neoma's voice trembled. What do you want, Ikena? Ikena hesitated, torn between his loyalty to Neoma and his lingering love for Chidima. I don't know, he admitted, feeling guilty. Neoma's face fell, and she turned to leave. Ikena, I deserve better than to be second best, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Chidima noticed the tension between Ikena and Neoma. She approached Ikena, concern etched on her face. Ikena, what's wrong? Ikena rubbed his temples, feeling overwhelmed. Neoma knows about us. About our past. Chidima's eyes widened. Oh, Ikena. I'm sorry. Ikena looked at her, his eyes searching. Chidima, do you still love me? Chidima's heart skipped a beat. Yes, Ikena. I never stopped. Ikena's face softened, and he took a step closer to Chidima. Ikena, don't say anything, Chidima interrupted, her voice trembling. Not until you're sure. Not until you've thought it through. Ikenna nodded, understanding. As they stood there, the air thick with unspoken emotions, Ikenna realized he had a choice to make. Would he take a chance on rekindling his love with Chidima, or would he stay with Neoma, the woman who had helped him heal? Days passed, and Ikenna struggled to make a decision. His heart pulled him toward Chidima, but his sense of duty and loyalty bound him to Neoma. One evening, as he walked along the beach, Ikenna stumbled upon a small wooden box buried in the sand. It was the same box he had crafted for Chidima years ago. Inside, he found a note. Ikenna, my love. I know I hurt you, but my love for you never faded. If you're willing to take a chance, meet me at our old spot tomorrow at sunset. Yours always, Chidima. Ikenna's heart skipped a beat. This was the sign he needed. The next evening, Ikenna arrived at their old spot, his heart pounding. Chidima stood there, radiant in the fading light. Ikenna, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Ikenna took her hand, his eyes locked on hers. I've made my decision. I choose you, Chidima. I choose us. Chidima's face lit up with joy. Epilogue. 6 months later, Ikenna and Chidima stood before their friends and family, exchanging vows. Their love story was one of second chances, forgiveness, and redemption. As they danced under the stars, Ikenna whispered, I love you, Chidima. I love you too, Ikenna, Chidima replied, smiling. Their promise of forever had been tested, but in the end, love prevailed.